So it is called the Cemetery Studio, where we live in an old church, and you can see people ask if the cemetery is still active. They're digging a grave up there. So yes, it is active, and because they have diggers like that, they don't have to store the bodies under here anymore, like they used to in the olden days. You thought you were coming here to learn how to cut glass. We're going to do that too. I just wanted to tell you that. First thing when you're cutting glass, put on glasses. There you go. Yes, they make it fidgety to see through, but we gotta wear them. Protect your eyes. Now there's all different kinds of glass cutters, which a glass cutter is really should be called a glass scorer. It has a little wheel on it. Let me see if I can get you to see the little wheel. It can't cut you. It only scores the glass. And I'm going to give you some really good tips on cutting glass, cutting it better. Hello, Michelle, and happy Tuesday. How are you? And so we're going to put on gloves. You always want to wear gloves when you're doing this. And we're going to kick right into this because I got a bunch of glass to cut up. I'm making little dots out of these. But and this is glass refusing. And so let's just start here. This piece has a rippled edge to it, and this side is textured. You can see that. You can't cut through a label, but look, this side is textured too. So therein lies the dilemma. You got to pick which side you think is the smoother side, and I'm going to show you on both sides. Let's pretend it's this side. Now, what I like to do is hold this. See this little plane here needs to be perpendicular to your glass. That needs to be perpendicular to the glass. So basically a 45-degree angle. And what I like to do is, instead of holding it like a pencil, I have arthritis, I can't do that. I like to hold it this technique. I call this the psycho technique because of the movie. Okay. And I control it with my thumb. I'm going to try to give you a bird's eye view here so you can see. Start at the edge of the glass. I'm going to try to go from here up to this side. You have to take this label off. I don't have time to do that this morning. I want to cut up this stuff and get it in my kiln to make little dots. So we're going to hold it here. We're going to start here. Now this is the most important tip I can give you. Once you start making your line, keep even pressure and don't stop and start. Don't stop and start. And you never rescore a line. So we're going to start here, push down, and we're going to push down, and then we're going to just go for it. Let it come off the other end, and then we're going to hold this up. We're going to tap right underneath the score line, and it breaks nice and clear and easy. Now let's flip it over and see what the other side feels like. We're going to do the same. This side is more wiggly. I mean more bumpy. So when it's glass that you're not quite sure what side's the smoother, you might want to do a little cut test. This is fusible glass, so we save all of this stuff and use it. I'm going to take this and score this. And you want that nice sound to happen. And sometimes when you get these little pieces down here, they will shatter. So you have something called running pliers. This is running pliers. Just remember, all these running pliers are the same. They have a little ridge in the middle that breaks the glass for you, but you got to keep the screw up. Keep the screw pointing up, or you will screw up. Screw up so you don't screw up. And then you line the middle part of it, and I put an arrow here long ago, and then just squeeze. When you squeeze, it should take it off nice and neat for you. And then over here, we'll just score this one like this. I save these pieces of glass then, and then soak them to get the labels off easy.
Did you get in trouble?
I did. All right, so this I'm gonna put over in here and just save this to soak my glass in, because I got a lot of pieces over here that still have labels on them. I save my bits to soak and make it easy. Make it easy on yourself. All right, so that's a simple straight cut. Now, like I said, I'm doing, you can see on this one, see the textured back and then the smooth back, you cut on the smooth side. So if you want to do something that's more adventurous, you could draw it out first. Let's make a little, these are all going to become dots. So, but let's just make a little ziggy line here. Don't lift it up. Curve it around. My hand's in the way, sorry. Don't lift it up and keep going. So we have a little zigzag line. Now I like to hold the glass firmly on this side and then tap behind that line. I should have done it on a clear piece to show you. You can hear it change sounds. You hear it change, it's gonna break now. Well, that part is, but because it's a curve and a curve, curves want to hold on. Curves are harder to cut. But there we got it. But before you start doing, and these kind of things look super cool. This just reminds me of pieces that I make. I make a piece like this, and then I'll put stuff in between here, and they look so cool. They look really cool. Let me show you on this one. Again, you got a textured side, and you got a smoother side. I always cut on the smoother side. I'm going to show you how to cut a whole bunch of little, and Michelle loves watching these lives. Yay. Yay, and Michelle emailed me. Fun. So, and P.S., I'm cutting on a Morton grid. It's called Morton, just like my hubby, but it catches all these little pieces of glass, which this is all fused glass, so I can use all those little bits when I'm making complicated hearts. And I got a whole kiln shelf of complicated hearts that came out this morning. They're some of my prettiest yet. And if you're not in our Facebook group yet, get in it. I'm getting ready to put the pictures up in there of them. I'll make a little reel on here about them too, a little short. Okay, so this one, I'm going to just score. I'm going to just score some little pieces. This reminds me of cutting mosaics up now. So this whole big piece is going to become a whole bunch of little glass balls that I use in my vitrograph, or I'm sorry, in my complicated hearts. So when you put little squares in the kiln, they turn into little circles. These are little eyeballs here that we've made for future pieces. I want to make something with little eyeballs soon. Maybe a fun little fantasy bird with little eyeballs. And good morning, I'm happy you're here. Okay, so this one, now this is the exception. I'm going to score over this line by cutting this way. I want to make lots of little bits. I'm going to teach you a really neat trick here. If you need to cut a lot of little pieces, if you're making mosaics out of glass, this is what you want to do. You want to score it all up like that, and then you want to get a lid, something with a little cushion, right? So that has a little cushion on it, and it'll catch our pieces. We're just going to put it in here, and we're just going to tap the back. When you tap the back, sorry, it's loud. When you tap the back, it breaks up into pieces. You could also take this and then go on your lines if you don't want the noise. And you squeeze and they break apart. But you have to do this score side up. Score side up. You can't really see the score line there, but it is a score side up. And then these ones you have to do, if you want to tap the back of them, you got to put score side down to get them to break apart. Oops. That one broke and went flying. Pair of tweezers on a thing like this is great. Now I'm going to show you I want to start doing some videos where I teach you some really good techniques. I'll do this one. You got to break it apart pretty soon. Glass does this self-healing cool thing. So it will self-heal itself. So you don't want to leave it sit too long. I'm gonna, then the fun part is when these are all separated. Do I have any separated here? I lay these out in the kiln shelf like this, one at a time, all over here. It's tedious, but you got to do that because that will fuse it into a circle. And then when I go use my little circles, let me see if I can find one in here that I use. I used them all up that I had. I had a whole bunch. I call them dots. All my little dots I have used up. The only dots I have left are eyeballs, which it is kind of cool to stick an eyeball in a complicated heart too. I like that, but I need more dots. So that's what I am doing this morning. Now, another good glass tip is when you get a piece of glass that's iridescent on one side, see the iridescent side, and the other side, they both kind of feel really smooth. You always want to cut on the iridescent side. And again, this is a really good way to practice. If you're just starting out with your glass cutting, push it down, get that nice score, and tap. Score and tap. And just a lot of times if you're cutting pieces like this, it's a really fun thing to do. Doing freeform stained glass projects. Now these are going to be for fusing, like I said, so I want them to be little. I want them to be in specific sizes, and I just need to make a whole lot of dots. So I brought a lot of my scraps here. Some glass that can be tricky. So iridescent, I find it's always best to cut on that side, unless it has a pattern in it. If it has a like a ripple in it like this. If it has a ripple like this, listen, that side's smooth. That sounds like that instrument we used in school. Never cut on that side, just on the smooth side. The smooth side, not the ridge side. And sometimes the iridescent pieces will have ridges on them. So never do that. And then another glass that can be tricky is the glass like this. This is an art glass. You can see very clearly shiny smooth side. This side's super shiny too, but it's kind of more dimpled. So I'd cut on this side, and this is a live edge of the glass. They're always tough to cut into because can you see all the, like there's a lot of different opacities of glass going on there. So this kind of glass, it can be like right here, right there. It wanted to stop because I caught that ridge. And I like to hold, so if I was cutting for a pattern and this was the piece that was going to be in the pattern, I would hold this side tight and keep your fingers to the other side of the break, right? But hold this side nice and firm because this side's going to fall when you tap it. This side will fall. So if you do this, the side that falls isn't your piece that you're worried about. And you want to hold it close to your surface. I have been teaching glass cutting for decades now, and I have had people, I'm not exaggerating, they'll cut the glass and they'll hold it up like a foot or 2 feet off of their surface. They'll hit it, they'll cut it, and you hear this horribly smashing glass noise. So hold it close to your surface. Work comfortably. Sit where you're in a position that it feels good. Was there another one that I wanted to show you? I think that was it. If you have little bits to cut like this stuff is typically easier. If I was going to cut this into squares, I would take my nippers. Where are my nippers? Morton moved my nippers. Morton cut a whole bunch of glass yesterday. I'd have used this. I'd have used those squares. I might do that and get my table loaded up. I think I'm going to. When you take your gloves off, because you're just loading this, you can, but I need to break these up more. Oops, I'm doing it on top of glass. That's not smart. Let's break all these up. These fuse so cool. This is the noisy way to do it. This will definitely wake you up. And I took my gloves off. Not smart, but I'm keeping my hand back. That piece go. Yay. Honey, would you bring me the nippers back? I have no idea where mine are from here. I need nippers, please. I want to show you the nippers. These are way too noisy. Okay, let's go ahead and start laying out on here. So this stuff is this is the fun and therapeutic part. And normally what I'll do is I divide this into quarters. I don't have to glue these because they're flat and they won't move. I just set them, and I space them kind of that far apart. These will all turn into little circles. And I have a schedule for my dots that I make. I'm not annealing the dots because they're going to be all used again. So I'm not going to do the hold. So I do a fast heat up. I do a heat up, a melt, and then cool down. That's the schedule. And I do have a good dot schedule. This part's super fun, but it's time consuming. Thanks, my love.
I don't know what's wrong. You said the other one's down there, the spring's missing, but you said they didn't work properly. I don't know what's wrong with them.
Yeah, we should have went into Harbor Freight, and I should have looked for a pair. No, the spring's missing, and it's harder to do it because the spring doesn't pop it back open for you. You got to do double duty. And today Morton's going in for a 3-hour test in the hospital, and he's not allowed to eat after 10 a.m. So he's got to go eat just now. So you lay these all up. Sometimes if they touch, they will jump together. And then let me put my gloves back on and show you here what these nippers will do. Right now, Harbor Freight has these on sale for $5. I might, while he's at the hospital today, go in there and grab a pair. These ones, the springs are prone to pop out in them. And I have a pair that my spring popped out of, but you want the springs. It saves your hands. So this one, where I have all of these little scores, I can take and just go like this to chop these down rather than banging them. They go so easy because you've already scored them. And then this sort of one here, because this is a straight line, I can just hold this, nip, nip, nip. These are great if you want squares, which I do because the little squares are going to turn into dots. And then the same with these. This looks like Easter colors to me here now, especially when we put this iridescent purple in. That looks super cute. And they don't have to be perfect squares to get your circle. Like these are they're more like little rectangles. They'll turn into a perfect little circle for us. And this, like I said, this is one of those lovely, lovely therapeutic crafts that when you're doing this, when you're laying these out, it's so relaxing. I find it so relaxing to do. And it doesn't matter, these could be little triangles as well. That doesn't matter what shape they're in. They'll turn into little dots when we fuse them. Little glass dots. The little rectangles would be little glass ovals, which they're cool too. And I want all different sizes of these. From itty bitty little, oh, here's a little dot. There's a little dot with a heart in it. Let me zoom you in. See, that little dot has a heart in it. That started life as a circle, actually. All right, so now it's just a matter of taking all these. Oh, there's a teeny tiny little dot on there. He's an accidental leftover. I'll set a piece on there and he'll go into that color. Like this will have a little dot of blue in it now. It will be super cool. You can make really fun things. Sheila's working on her cardinal mosaic. I love it. I can't wait to see it. And I'm gonna jump off. I wanna go down there and make sure Morton's actually eating. Yeah, the little squares turn into perfect little circles. It's magic. So, yeah, go do something creative today. Have a lovely thing. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube yet, subscribe. And stay safe, stay fun. And, yeah, get busy. Get busy living this life. Look at. I work beside a cemetery. Breathing is our most important function. Have a beautiful day. Make yourself happy and talk to you soon. Bye for now.